Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Welcome and thank you for joining us for our weekly Buddhist Church of San Francisco Sangha service. And this month, we'll be observing the July Shotsuki. And so with that, we'll have our President Keith Kojimoto reading the names of our previous members who have passed away during this month. And then little change of pace, so the service, as you'll note, began with the Kansho. And then for today's ritual, I'll be doing the Sambujo and reading a statement of the service and chanting Junirai. And then following that, Reverend Keisuke Lee will be reading our pledge, the verses that were recently composed by the current Gomonshu Kojun Ohtani. And then we'll close with some concluding appreciations and announcements. Again, thank you for joining us. Please be mindful and safe.
Welcome, and thank you everyone for joining us today for our July Shotsuki Hoyo monthly memorial service. Thank you again for joining us today for the July Shotsuki Hoyo. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu.
Namanda, 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 namanda. Respectfully acknowledge the presence of Amida Tathagata entering this practice hall as we joyfully offer flowers of welcome. Ojo Shaka Nyorai Niu respectfully acknowledge the presence of Shaka Tathagata entering this practice hall as we joyfully offer flowers of welcome. Ojo Jitpo Nyorai respectfully acknowledge the presence of Tathagatas of the Universal 10 Directions entering this practice hall as we joyfully offer flowers of welcome. Honjitsu, ここにサンフランシスコ仏教会世襲となり、うやうやしく阿弥陀如来の昇覧を仰ぎ、慎みて7月の小月法要言修す。誠に阿弥陀如来は尋常の聖願を起こしたまえて、あまねく十方の主張を設計し、真実の理の名号をもって我らを召喚したも、しかれば活行の神戸を垂れて、大悲の本勢を聞き、歓喜肝に銘じて、尊き皆をたたえ祭らん。願わくは先に生ある者は後を導き、後に生ある者は先を尋ね、愛ともに寛容理解にご一緒の妙化を光線、敬ってです。Today, on the occasion of July 2020 monthly memorial, we dedicate this service in grateful memory, acknowledging our indebtedness to those who have gone before us as we reverently come together in the spirit of universal oneness, Amida Tathagata. Amida Tathagata, through fulfilling the supreme sacred vows that universally embraces all beings, guides and encourages us through the virtues of the sacred name, Namo Amida Butsu. Therefore, listening reverently to the assurance of great compassion conveyed in the Buddha Dharma, filled with joy, we praise the name. May those born ahead give guidance to those who come later, and the successors seek the counsel of their predecessors, together aspiring to realize the great reunion of rebirth in the pure land of enlightenment. So we respectfully declare, Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Junirai, the 12 adorations praising the virtues of Amida Tathagata. Keishu tenin shokugyo Amida senryo zokuson Zaihi mimeo anakok Muryo bushishu inel Konjiki shinjo nyosen no Shama tangyo nyozobu Ryomoku jonyaku shorenge Koga chorai minason Menzen enjo nyomangat Iko yunyo senichigat Shonyo tenku kushira Koga chorai minason kelman koga chorai minasan mugimaku koshokyo shutoku ketsunyokoku shosariyaku tokujizai koga chorai minasan jippo myomon bosashu muryo shomajo sandan isho shujo ganikiju koga chorai minasan kontai hoken shishoke zengon shoujo meo daiza ohiza jonyo sen no koga chorai minasan jippo shorai shobushi kengen jinzu shippanrat sengo songen jokugyo hoga chorai minasan shoumujo mugato yakunyo suigatsu den yoro ishu seppo mumyoji koga chorai minasan hisombu setsumu akumyo yakumu nyonin akudoku shunin shishin kyohison koga chorai minasan hison muryo hobenkyo mushoshu akuchishi hojo futai shibodai hoga chorai minasan gasetsu hison kudokuji shuzen no hen nyokai sui shogyaku zengon shoujo usha eseshu Dohotun Boda Ishin Ojo merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. From the collected works of Shinran, a record in Lament of Divergences, Chapter 7, Shinran is quoted. As for me, Shinran, I have never said the Nembutsu even once for the repose of my departed father and mother. For all sentient beings, without exception, have been our parents and brothers and sisters in the course of countless lives in many states of existence. On attaining Buddhahood after the present life, we can save every one of them. Were saying the Nembutsu indeed a good act in which I strove through my own powers, then I might direct the merit thus gained toward saving my father and mother. But this is not the case. If, however, simply abandoning self-power, we quickly attain enlightenment in the Pure Land, we will be able to save by means of transcendent powers, first those with whom we have close karmic relations, whatever karmic suffering they may have, and sunk into the 6 realms through the 4 modes of birth. Thus were his words. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. For me, this passage kind of expresses how I appreciate this kind of popular expression. We're all in this together. And this sense of being all in this together is another way of describing the idea of oneness, that we are part of an immeasurable, universal life. No one exists alone. And this is the essential truth, or we say Dharma, of life that Shakyamuni woke up to and shared with others, that helped them to be able to free and, we would say, manifest this way of living. And this is the heart, for me, of the Nembutsu. To accept and appreciate that we're all in this together, that I cannot exist alone. I am absolutely dependent from the moment of my birth through the course of my mortal existence. And this, in a way, is how I see sheltering in place as a opportunity for spiritual awareness, awakening to this truth of so many things that ordinarily we may take for granted. We may not appreciate how all of these things are constantly having to be working together in order for anything to occur. And this is the truth. It's not a belief, it's not a concept. It's the sense of what it is to be alive with that awareness. And that's the sense of being in this together, this being our finite mortal existence. And so the circumstances of COVID-19 have thrust us into this, as we say, unprecedented situation. But the fact is, it's not unprecedented because we were absolutely dependent upon all the things around us, even before that. But it's kind of, in a sense, restricting our movement so that sheltering in place can be seen as the opportunity to become more self-reflective, or we say mindful of the truth, which is what the whole idea of the rituals and ceremonies that we follow and observe in our Buddhist tradition were dedicated to providing us that opportunity for awakening, sensing and realizing, making real this feeling that yes, I am living this finite existence, but it is due to the innumerable causes and conditions that have come in together from which I have appeared. So that's where I always like to use that metaphor of the ocean and the waves. So we appear on the surface of life, so to speak, in the form of a wave. And just as the wave, it's never stagnant, it's never static, it's constantly moving from one moment to the next. It never stops, it continues to flow. And that's the current of life, or the energy of life that we could, and I feel, refer to as Amida. That energy, the other power, so to speak, that is pulsating and giving us a sense of life. It's the heartbeat of life that we hear in the sound in our tradition, Namo Amida Butsu. So hearing the Dharma isn't to be obliged to accept some kind of a dogma, some basic concepts about beliefs. But hearing the Dharma is to hear the call of Namo Amida Butsu, the call of great compassion to wake up, to be able to appreciate the truth, the reality that no one lives alone, and we have, since, as Shinran wrote, for all sentient beings, without exception, have been our parents and brothers and sisters in the course of countless lives in many states of existence. And that's the cycle, that's the current that has continued to move through time and space, from which we appear as momentary little ripples or waves, to feel and realize that basic connection, the sense of being together in oneness. And in some respects, people have thought perhaps this COVID-19 situation gives us a sense of the truth of we're all in this together, in the extent of how we're experiencing what they call a global pandemic. You know, this invisible to our regular eyesight, virus. But virus is another form of life. And sure, from a human perspective, it becomes a problem because it raises a certain threat, gives us a sense of vulnerability, and with that anxiety, fear. And as has been pointed out, fear is the essential inability to accept the fact that we do not exist in little vacuums. We are not little entities unto ourselves. So yeah, you might call it the survival instinct, or as Robert Wright refers to it, describes in terms of the evolutionary psychology that we're kind of programmed with to procreate as our basic agenda. No purpose other than just to continue to exist in our particular form, just like viruses. And that's why some scientists have pointed out, we just got to figure out how to live with it, to live in harmony with that truth, that reality, that all beings are constantly taking different forms and interacting. And so this is how I see being in this together. And we would add from our Shin perspective, in gratitude. So, okay, here we go. A recent acronym. Okay. So, mahalo. And I think many of you are familiar with this term who've gone to Hawaii, because we're taught that this is the Hawaiian expression for thank you, mahalo. And so the acronym MAHALO for me is mindfully aware how appreciation links oneness. So the attitude and spirit of gratitude, which I think that's our focus in a Shin Buddhist perspective of life. Gratitude, more than faith, is my way of appreciating the life that we're living in this together, in oneness, or as the gesture offers in Gassho. So joining our palms in front of our hearts, and if the occasion offers, encircled by the onenju, all symbols of this essential truth, reality of oneness, which led Shinran to declare, as for me, Shinran, I have never said the Nembutsu even once for the repose of my departed father and mother. For all sentient beings, without exception, have been our parents and brothers and sisters in the course of the countless lives in many states of existence. On attaining Buddhahood after this present life, we can save every one of them. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Mahalo.
Hi everyone. Now I will read our pledge, a message from Gomonshu Kojun Ohtani, written on November 23rd, 2018. ただいまより、私たちの誓いという2018年11月23日に、大谷光純御門主がお書きになったメッセージを拝読させていただきます。ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏。Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance. I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. 私たちの誓い。自分の殻に閉じこもることなく、穏やかな顔と優しい言葉を大切にします。微笑み語りかける仏様のように、むさぼり、怒り、愚かさに流されず、しなやかな心と振る舞いを心がけます。心安らかな仏様のように、自分だけを大事にすることなく、人と喜びや悲しみを分かち合います。慈悲に満ち満ちた仏様のように。生かされていることに気づき、日々に精一杯努めます。人々の救いに尽くす仏様のように。ナマンダブツ、ナマンダブツ、ナマンダブツ、ナマンダブツ、ナマンダブツ、ナマンダブツ、ナマンダブツ、ナマンダブツ。Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Reverend Keisuke Lee-Miyaki for leading us in the reading of our pledge. For today's appreciations, I would like to, as we always have to remember, how this virtual Sangha service is able to be presented. It's through the efforts of our producer, Kevin Yoza, and his assistant, Keith Kojimoto, who week after week so conscientiously puts the various parts of this service together in one so-called big picture. And to also thank Aina Tao for her thoughtful sharing of various thoughts that she's come across on the internet that she feels would be helpful and encouraging us to maintain a sense of awareness and appreciation to keep us safe and sane. And thanks again for last week's service that was chaired by Sarah Matsumura and Sydney Lopin and Reverend Elaine Donlan's Dharma message about the joys that we should be able to realize in life if we were more mindful of all the causes and conditions that are constantly supporting and making our life experience possible. And so some announcements, I guess you'll be seeing in various places announcements that we're going to have somewhat of a virtual Ginza Bazaar in the form of a bento project. And so, again, with the leadership and coordination of Arlene Kimata, we'll be offering bento orders. And then this time, ABS Seafood will be participating and providing some seafood items for sale that our volunteers will pick up and distribute. Whether you come here in person or for those who would like the assistance, we'll arrange to have the orders delivered to you. So you can just check or call the church or visit us on our website to find the ways to make that connection. And I guess this is an early announcing that next week, somebody that I've known for her whole life, my daughter, Tabitha, has been invited to offer an Obon Dharma talk. So I'm looking forward to it because I've never heard her give her a talk before. So I'll be just as surprised as you might be, or disappointed. I don't know. It's up to you. Okay, so with that, we conclude this week's Shotsuki service. Thank you for your attention.